Good Monday morning, everyone, and welcome to Grow Your Faith. I'm Michael Chestnut with Pat Milligan, and we are so glad to be back. We've been gone for about a month, I think, maybe, Pat. Just
Yes.
a lot of things, different things going on. I know in my family and probably yours, but I am excited to be back and doing this. How have you been doing?
Well, I've been doing pretty good. I been in and out of the hospital, but I've got the best nurse of all with Susie.
You
so
do.
I'm in good shape there. So no
Awesome.
matter what the doctors say, it's amazing how she goes in there and she knows more than some of them
Yep.
because of
Well, she's been
experience
doing
and
it
all
how
that.
long?
But I'm sure glad to be here, and
Yes.
God's good.
Well, it's great to have you back. I'm glad you're doing well and all that. And we're going to start into this is our second season. We're going to start into a series called Blessed Assurance. And part one is entitled Downward Look. Pat, I want to hand that over to you.
Okay, I'm just glad to be back with you. I actually missed being around Mike, just on video, but the last 4 or 5 weeks, because I just miss it. 'Cause I look forward to it every week,
Me
and
too.
when we don't do it, it's just I just have something missing in my life. But I'm glad to be with you. We're gonna look at the downward look at blessed assurance, Jesus mine. As I was uh, out this week, I uh, this one place that I went, they had a bunch of plants, and they tried to cover them up. They went there with with uh, a saw and all that, just got it all out of there, and it looked pretty good, But then I just saw it the other day after being gone for about 3 months, 3 weeks, that all of a sudden stuff started coming back up. It made me think about Who's Hills Baptist Camp.
Mhm.
We saw many young people trust Christ as Savior. Many young people get their lives right. But I'm sure today there's some that have been chopped down, and all that. And I thought about this chopped down. But as I looked over that, there's still because if you ask Christ in your heart, you can come back out of wherever you're at today. You could be in a worse situation, you can be in a great situation, but you can be coming back out. I was thinking about that. I thank God that when the fire started, it could come back and get going again. And by thinking about that, I'm thinking about blessed assurance in 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 6 to 8. Talks about that, talks about there about the blessed assurance. But as I think about this, in verse number 6, it gives us three thoughts there. The death of Paul was certain, it was close. The death was near, and the death had no fear, because when we ask Christ in our hearts, it's amazing what God can do for us. If you think about this, death would not separate us from God. If I ask Christ to come in my heart, I I know that I'm going to go to heaven, and that's the greatest thing. No matter what situation I'm in today, I asked to become my heart after separation from God. Also, death would be gain. We think about it, uh, death in our life. Uh, you think about being gain, and also death would not uh, be defeated in our life. As you think about this downward look, we look downward, we see where we're at, we see and it's so important that we let God work in our lives. Just like just like uh, we get our life gets chopped down. Sometimes in my life it seemed like that I'm having a bad day. And the thing about it is, I look back and I look at the subject, blessed assurance, Jesus is mine, because blessed assurance, Jesus is yours, and in every day thing that you do, whatever God works within your life. And I'm talking about you today. Hey, think about these thoughts today. That blessed assurance, Jesus is mine, and nothing can separate me from God. If I ask Christ to come to my heart in the summer of 1984, 88, there, I asked him to come to my heart. He's in my heart today, and I'm so thankful for that. I remember when I got said my anniversary was just the other day, like April 11th, 1969. I trusted Christ as my Savior. And every time I come to that day, I look back and see what God has done in my life. And I look back to that time. I know on that date, that 9:30 at night. Now, why I know it's 9:30 at night, because I guess I looked at the clock that night because I knew that I was on my way to hell. And I just asked Christ to come to my heart. So my youth pastor just showed me how I could be saved. And 9:30 at night at 324 Maple Street in Tipton, Indiana. You said, why do you remember that? I guess just because it's just something that hit me that night. I want to jot it down. But then let me tell you this thing, and I'm going to close with this today. I went by that house recently. It was an older house. I went by the whole house. They went in. They took the whole house down and built a brand new house. And that's like with my life when I got saved. Boy, God gave me a new life in Him, and I can be so thankful for that within my life. And I know that Mike, I know you can be so thankful. I so think about that day when I had the opportunity to talk to you. What a great experience! Yep. And other people that I think of other people at camp too, that came to know Christ that summers that we were at camp. But what a great thing! But we can stand here and say, "Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine, and I can do everything I can for Christ." And my thought to you today, this Monday morning, hey, remember, God's there for you. He wants to help you. He wants to help you get where you ought to be. And I'm so thankful that He helped me.
Yes, and me too. And I mean, our lives are examples of that. I was thinking of, I was just in a men's group yesterday, and we were kind of discussing this, and I was talking about, I remember in that valley, not knowing, having a lot of hope, but what great hope we have with Christ, because, it doesn't matter where we're at, what we've done. I went back August of 1986, Pat, is when you led me to Christ. Mm-hmm. And that first day, and now I got to get the exact date. I can pinpoint it now because I remember what night of the week it was. And it was a Thursday night, that Thursday night of all Campers Week, first week of August in there. And but that has stayed with me. And that was one thing that I was able to hang on to. And God was faithful. And yes, God will be faithful to you guys as well. So great to be back again. I hope you enjoyed this Monday morning. And listen, we're looking forward to continuing this series next week, Blessed Assurance. And this one was called Downward Look. What's next week's?
Next week is a backward look.
Backward look. Looking forward to it. Until next week, guys, keep growing your faith. We'll see you then.